got a project today. We had about a half-inch of rain last night. So I have this township road that has gotten too wide. You know, they should be like a 20-foot road bed, and this is up to like 26, 28, and flat. Because there's really not much of a base here, so it kind of migrated, kind of squishes out. Well, what I'm doing is stripping the whole surface off and piling it up along the edge of the road. Then I'm going to pull that shoulder in on that side, work it out in the middle, skate this gravel over the top to the other side, and then work that side of the shoulder down. Kind of get her narrowed back up to the 20-foot mark. But when you do this, I mean, it works. But you of course you lose some of your gravel. It'll end up, you know, being part of the base. But we'll re-gravel it again. But at least it'll drain now, you know, and get a little better base on it. It won't be so wide. But that's going to be an all-day project. Well, she works, but it keeps me on my toes. You know, it's a little bit sticky down on the edge there, but I'm running offset and with the whole blade canted over, but he's clawing her up. And then dropping it in the middle, right next to my other string, right under the machine. Now the next pass, then I'll move that over into the middle. It's funny, you know, we've got this road closed, but now I see a car coming. You know, people just drive around the road closed signs. But when I start moving this stuff over in the middle, they better get a little wise. Well, now I'm moving that pile over into the middle here so I can work it out. I'm going to make one more strip along the outside edge there to kind of even things up. Then I'll beat this whole big pile down, or I got a guy with a disc that'll come and knock that down. Then I'll slide that other stuff over the top and do the same thing on the other side. Well, I've got the old, that side pulled in and all that material beat down. Now I'm pulling the old road surface across, and I'll park it on the other shoulder, and then I'll pull this shoulder in and do the same thing. And it's going good, but I had a little bit of a breakdown. I had an oil line break. But that's to be expected. I've got about 50,000 miles on this machine. So, you know, things happen. I always think, well, it's good it didn't happen in winter. It's much easier to deal with when it's warm out. And it wasn't that big a deal. You know, it was two oil lines rubbing against each other, and that armor cut through one. So I brought it into the John Deere dealership and had a splice put in. And not bad to take it on and off. You know, some of them can be a bear, but this one, like I said, if you can fix it with an 8-inch crescent wrench, you're not doing too bad. Well, my part is done for now. You can see them two flags. That's where the new shoulder will be. So we got a 20-foot road top. And you can see I actually was able to salvage quite a little gravel, but we got 200 yards coming tomorrow for this mile. So that should do it. I'm just running my wheels along the one side here. I had a little bit of grass left over, squashing that down. And I'm done. I'm back once again to my regular work, which is much more relaxing than jouncing around on that rough stuff. We're cutting at a severe angle. You know, this is nice and open. Now I'm curious to see, but odds are against it. The guy just mowed the ditch here. Otherwise, the last 3 times I've been by here, there's 3 coyote pups that kind of half grown. You know, they must have been just born this spring. They come out and play right out here. But I think the mower probably give them a fright. But it's kind of interesting to see them. But you know, I'm afraid once this corn is off, they ain't got a chance. And I'm actually surprised to see him because the guy just across the section has sheep and goats. And he's very adamant against coyotes. So odds are, I know they've had the state trapper out and everything after them coyotes, but coyotes are pretty wily. But unfortunately, pups aren't very smart. It takes them a little while to get smart, or they wouldn't be out playing in the middle of the day. But I think they're probably holed up someplace. But it is always nice to see them. Well, one thing I'll mention just in passing now, you notice when this guy mowed this ditch, when he made this top cut, he blew it into the bottom of the ditch. Now, I really appreciate when people do that, because some people don't think about it, and they'll run their mower and they'll blow it all up on the road. Now, when I get all that grass up on the road, it just ends up in my windrows. You know, my windrow will be perfectly clean. It'll spread out. You know, it's funny sometimes they'll do that. They'll throw it up on the road, and then they end up with a big windrow. And they'll say, where did all that sod come from? Well, it ain't sod. It's all that grass they blew up on the road. So I appreciate it when a guy knows what he's doing when he mows. This makes life easier for everybody.